ever met. And I met him at his world tour when he was, I forget what it's called, but he was doing a talking tour around Australia. And just hearing some of the stories and funny and serious ones, when he starts talking about, the innocence of children and protecting his kids, he gets very serious, and that comes from a deep place, right? And I respect that in him because, like I said, he's had a rough childhood, and the fact that he stands strong for that is commendable, in my opinion.
I also saw that show here in Perth, and one of my favourite things that he talked about was how often they would lose Damien. They'd lose the snake.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You'd just be in a hotel and they'd be like, oh, I can't find the snake. Oh, it's gone into somebody else's room. It's gone into the plumbing. And also how certain people used to try and smuggle their drugs across the Canadian border in the snake bag because the border security people never wanted to go anywhere near it. So just crazy as well to think that you could just drive across another country's border with a massive python.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And what about you, mate? Who did you like?
My favourite figure from that line is the Hogan. Hogan won, the most iconic superstar in the WWF at the time, has the ripper gorilla press action. The hands on the action are gigantic. Makes you sort of feel like he's larger than life. You got the Hulk Rules shirt, the yellow boots, the knee pads, the headband. Even the card, though, the card has just captured the moment in time when he's ripping his shirt and he just nails the figure. I have this graded 90 in my collection.
Nice.
It's probably my favourite piece these days, and it is the most iconic Hasbro of them all. I'm sorry, I know you love Hulk Hug. I'm going to go with Hulk 1.
I respect that.
A fantastic figure, and you could not have nailed it more. If they had, imagine how bad the line would have gone if they had made Hulk 1 a jumper.
Oh, terrible. Well, whilst we're on Hasbro Series 1, why don't we go from the top and quickly make a comment about the rest of them. So who have we got? So Macho Man. Loved it.
Awesome. Hated it as a kid. Love it as an adult.
Great. $1 Million Man.
Wish that he had the removable suit. Like as a kid, you don't feel like you can wrestle the figure if he's not wearing wrestling attire.
Yeah, I thought it was iconic. Sorry, I think it's iconic. As a kid, I always thought he was a bit small. Next, Andre.
Yeah, awesome. Love it. Great action. Love it.
Can't fault it at all. Akeem.
Probably not one of the strongest figures of the line. But hang on, I'm going to cough, man. I'm just going to mute my mic.
Well, what Chris is talking about the one, my opinion on Akeem is again, it's one of those figures now that I believe is such an iconic piece. But as a kid, I didn't like it at all. I didn't actually think it looked like him, and I didn't really think he would be desired from a kid's point of view back in the
other
early
issue
90s.
I had with Akeem, now I'm back alive still, was his shirt was usually blue. I'm pretty sure his shirt was usually blue, but in the figure it's yellow.
Yeah, he had yellow or blue.
I reckon he wore blue more than he wore yellow.
I think he used to wear the yellow. Wouldn't it be a jumper, but like a shirt over the top of his blue. Yeah, poncho.
Yeah, the poncho.
That's right. All right, next we've got Jake the Snake. We've talked about Axe. I think it's a great figure.
I think Axe and Smash are both really good figures.
I
actually like the tag pack more with the helmets, but I love the definition in the face paint. The chains on the body look exactly like they used to wear. A really good job.
Have you ever seen the original Hasbro drawing of Axe with the clothesline move?
Yeah, cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you reckon
For those
it would
that
have
haven't
worked as
seen
well?
that. Sorry, mate?
What do you reckon would have worked better?
Look, I think the clothesline action, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then again, when Crush was released in the 2-pack, was Axe meant to be Crush? Was Crush ever meant to be released? I'm glad that they went with Axe with the body slam action, because I think if you had two demolition figures with the clothesline, it would have been a bit silly.
I think they would
Okay,
have thought about that too. It wouldn't have been right to have two figures with the same action in the same tag.
yeah. Warrior. Again, I think it's an iconic figure, but I don't like it. I just think Warrior as a jumper just does not suit the character whatsoever.
The worst thing about the Warrior figure is if you ever tried to pin another wrestler as a kid, he just rolled off. You had to hold him on because the pin wouldn't work because he had the big barrel chest, and on the back you couldn't pin the Warrior because if you put him on his back, the jumper would push him over. Like his arm kept raising from the jumper.
Yeah. Okay, Rick Rude. Now this figure cops a lot of criticism. I don't mind it. Again, I think he was a lot bigger than what they've portrayed in the Hasbro line. Can live with it because the maneuver, the action was so spot on to what Rick Rude would do. But I think if they were to remake him again, I'd like to see him a bit more buff and a bit bigger.
I agree with 100% with everything you just said. I think a bit bigger, and I like the action. I just think the body and the figure could have been bigger.
Yep. Big Boss Man. For me, this is my favorite Boss Man out of the two that were released. I do not like the Series 3-1 much. I think number one is so iconic. Him standing next to Akeem, they're the Twin Towers. They look spot on.
My only issue is his fingers on his hand. Like, why has he got the split fingers?
I'd have to look at it. I don't recall. I'd have to look at that.
Check out his hand. On his one hand holds the nightstick. On the other hand, his fingers they don't look right. Like on the Gorilla Press, you've got your normal hand, but his hand's more like that.
Okay. Like
Star
Trek Spock.
Yeah, a bit of Star Trek stuff.
Okay, last but not least, I bitch about this figure all the time. Brutus the Barber Beefcake, in my opinion, is the worst figure of the Hasbro line. And I'm going to go as far as to say the worst figure ever created.
I think it's probably my number 2 favorite from this series.
Oh my God.
I just think they nailed it. It was, who doesn't want a figure that holds? No.
Are you being serious? Oh, I was going to say.
No. Pretty average. You could see why. The interesting thing with this figure, though, is there's heaps of them. There must have been heaps left on the pegs, but yet no one can find figures like this mint because they just got chucked in people's back storerooms, whatever, and they all got destroyed. So,
I've been there. I look for a mint Brutus the Barber Beefcake. For me, I grade my figures. I only grade them. They have to be 85 plus. It took me over 12 months to find a mint enough Brutus to grade, and I got an 85. Thank God. Hard to find.
That's good, mate.
Well, that's a great review, mate. I love it, and I look forward to talking about Series 2 next episode because that is by far my favorite series of the Hasbro line. So next up, let's listen to a word from my major sponsors, Go Figure Collectibles.
Well, I'm going to do this one, and as I said before, we've got the usual advert will be inserted into the pod here, but I'll just take it away with my lovely voice and try not to cut off.
Good luck, mate.
Mattel, Jakks, Hasbro's, LJNs, Remco's, Super 7s. Are you looking for a store that stacks all the latest and greatest wrestling figures? Then look no further because Go Figure Collectibles has what you're looking for. Jeff and the team at Go Figure Collectibles are always filling the shelves with the latest releases and buying up old, cherished collections to fulfill any vintage collection needs. You can visit them online at gofigurecollectibles.com.au. But if you're in Melbourne, or even if you're in Adelaide or Sydney, you can drive there and you can check out their store at 104 Bakers Road, Coburg North in Victoria. Say good day to Jeff and the team. Make sure you get a selfie with him. For all Wrestling with Figs podcast listeners and Figs Down Under community members, you can use the code FDU5 and save 5% off your next purchase store-wide. And I've heard, this may not be true, if you put FDU5 in twice, you might even get 10% off. Oh. Maybe that won't work. It probably won't. But you could try it. Maybe just type FDU10, maybe FDU50. I think that's James's secret code that he doesn't tell me about. You get 50% off. But if you've got a collection, you're looking to move it on, you can take it to Jeff. He'll give you a evaluation and possibly buy stuff from you. If you're looking for something in particular, talk to him and he will help you find what you need. What a great store. Go and check him out.
Awesome. Go figure, doing such great things for the community. All right, now it's time for meet and greet.
Oh, hang on. You're just rushing me, Jamesy.
You never believe who I met at the shops. Who was it? I met someone at the airport. What, are you a stalker? No, I was there to pick up my mum. Yeah, right. Who'd you meet? Stone Cold Steve Austin? The Ultimate Warrior? Andre the Giant? Hulk Hogan? Did you meet CM Punk? You met the big red machine Kane, didn't you? Did you meet Mankind? Oh my God, you met Marty Jannetty. I bumped into Paul Heyman.
All right, so meet and greet. So I guess why this segment is pretty important to us wrestling fans and collectors down under is we don't get to meet the wrestling superstars that we'd love to, like most of our listeners around the globe. So each fortnight we get our members to send in pictures of who they've met, and we pick 3 random, and I guess we make up a bit of a story about what they discussed and what they may have got up to after they did their meet and greet. You ready to get into it, Chris?
I am, mate. We just had a question before. Sorry, I know you've just driven us beautifully into it. The question was, can people use the FDU5 code in store?
Yes, absolutely. Just mention you are part of the Figs Down Under community and you know Jeff, and the code is FDU5, and they will give you your 5% off store-wide. Back on track.
All right, who are we meeting first, James?
All righty, Brendan Reed. He sent in a picture of the great one, Eddie Guerrero.
So we said Eddie would make an appearance later on. He looks thrilled there to meet Brenton. He looks a bit tired. I don't know whether it's not an airport, is it?
It looks like an airport, and that's why I think Eddie Guerrero's got the shits, and he's thinking, these wrestling fans, where is the nearest bar?
But you know what? That's a once-in-a-lifetime chance. You've got to take your chance. Don't worry about what you hear the superstars say about not being hassled in airports. Don't worry about that. They will never remember you. You get that photo when you get your chance. Otherwise, you'll never get that chance again.
That's right. As Aussies and New Zealanders, we don't get that chance, so take it. All right, next up, we have the great one, Jeff Shurub. Geez, if we get $1 for every time Jeff Shurub's name gets mentioned, or Go Figure Collectibles, we wouldn't need a major sponsor. So here he is, the great man from Go Figure Collectibles, Jeff Shurub, with Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
How good does Brutus look there?
Brutus is looking sensational, and Jeff is feeling his shoulder and just thinking, my God, Jeff's quite a fitness fanatic now, and I reckon this photo here has inspired him because he's rubbing his shoulder and he's just thought, I've got to get like Brutus. Look at those guns.
But I think this photo, Brutus started to drink his own bathwater because I don't think he looks that fit anymore.
Oh, yeah. He's got a big belly on him now, doesn't he?
Well, he had to have the double knee replacement, I think, or he had one. He did crowdfunding for his knee to get his knee fixed. So,
yeah, isn't that a shame? Isn't that a shame he had to crowdfund to fund his operation?
It's just seems to be one of those things that, and it's hard because of the era that they worked within. That there was just no education on saving money.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but not least, we're going to jump over to Mike Skeggs, and he's met Diamond Dallas Page.
DDP getting a couple of mentions tonight as well. DDP always looks good, always fit.
He does, doesn't he?
What?
You know, he was a great wrestler and started quite later on in life, which is really inspiring. Going through all those bumps and hits. You know, I'm 41 this year, and I reckon if I did a flip onto a canvas mat, I wouldn't get up for a week. So
we should have a match.
We should.
Yeah.
Boxing match. I can still throw them.
No, I reckon I've got you covered,
Yeah, you're about what? How tall are you? 6'8"?
6'4".
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow. Truth be told, listeners, Chris and I have never actually met in person. We met online.
We met online, yeah. It was, I think, what was the app called? Tinder?
Oh, no. Shh. My beautiful wife will be watching this, and that is not true. Deny.
You messaged me and said that you liked my picture, and then that was how we met. I'm
thank
pretty
you,
sure
everyone.
we actually